All right, so here we go. Sony pulls back from PlayStation games on PC. What, dude? Leave me alone. Hold on, chat. I gotta use the bathroom. Give me 1 second. Are they more casual gamers though? Because I consider myself to be a more hardcore gamer, and I feel like there's more hardcore gamers on PC than there are casual gamers on PC. I'll be right back. I gotta use the bathroom, chat. All right, so here we go. You said I don't know. That's really hard. That's something hard to define. I mean, they're all playing pretty much daily based on achievements that they are locking. What do they play though? Like, I wonder why they choose Xbox over PC. I'm not gonna say that everyone is like me, because I definitely believe there are. I think there are things that console definitely does better than a PC, like making the experience more streamlined, right? Like, um, like how I can just boot on an Xbox or a PlayStation. I can join my friends in a voice chat party real easy. I can invite them to every game super easily, you know? Whereas like on PC, I might have three different launchers. One friend's using this one, another friend's using that one, and I'm using this one. Then we all gotta hop into Discord. Then I gotta add them on that platform. And then if we switch to a different game, I have to add them onto this platform and then invite them that way. Blah 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 blah. Right? There's a lot less streamlining on PC for sure. Yeah, and good gaming PCs are more expensive for sure. Apps for all streaming. Yeah, no, 100%. There's definitely an argument to be made where console gaming is better. I just much prefer a keyboard and mouse just because I feel like there's a lot more control. And I feel like there's more access to a variety of games on PC compared to Xbox or PlayStation as well. Like I can't play Deadlock on a PlayStation, right? And I really enjoy Deadlock. Um, I think I will be able to eventually. I think they're gonna release it for console, but there's like a bar uh for consoles when it comes to certain games and things like that because you have to go to Sony and Xbox and say, hey, here's my game, here's the patch, blah 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 blah. You know, whereas on PC you could just push the patch, like this. It doesn't take as long to get approval from from Steam for a patch that it does as long as PS5 or PlayStation and Xbox. Sorry. All right, but here we go. Let's get into this, right? Oh, Sony Group Corp no longer plans to release its big PlayStation 5 games on PC. A major shift in strategy that sees the video game maker returning to console exclusivity after 6 years of flirting with multi-platform releases, according to people familiar with the company's plans. Online games such as Marathon and Marvel Toucan will still be released across multiple platforms, but single-player titles such as last year's samurai hit Ghost of Yotei and the upcoming action game Saros will remain exclusive to PS5, said the people who asked not to be identified because they weren't authorized to talk publicly about the company's strategy. The people cautioned that things could change in the future due to the unpredictable nature of the video game industry and that Sony's plans are constantly shifting, but in recent weeks, PlayStation scrapped plans to bring Ghost of Yotei and other internally developed games to PC. Two games made by external developers but published by PlayStation, Death Stranding 2 and the upcoming Kena Scars of Cosmora, are still planned for release on PC later this year. I wonder if this also has to do with the fact that they might actually be losing money because maybe the games just aren't competitive enough for PC players, right? Or maybe I don't know what the internal numbers are like. Maybe they do make more from the console gamers or whatever, right? From buying on console, maybe the development cost of porting over the PC game or whatever is not worth the cost of them just developing it strictly for the PS5 because they make the PS5, they manufacture the PS5 at a loss and hope to make it up through exclusive games. This is always how the consoles have operated. Plus, we all have Game Pass, so there's also a much better chance we have the same games to be able to play together. That's true, yeah. I can understand that too. But I don't. It doesn't. I think PlayStation has something like that, right? They have something, um, like that where it's like Game Pass. Do they not? I'm gonna double check that. Does Sony have their own version of OS of Game Pass? Yeah, Sony has its own version of Game Pass, but it's not direct competitor the same way Xbox Game Pass is. Sony's service is called PlayStation Plus, which has evolved into a three-tier subscription model: Essential, Extra, and Premium. This structure combines the features of the former PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now services. PlayStation Plus Extra adds access to a large library of PS4 and PS5 games, including many third-party titles. PlayStation Plus Premium includes everything from Extra, plus access to a vast library of older PlayStation games, game streaming, and extended demos. PlayStation, yeah, yeah. So what it seems like is where like you still have to buy the games on PlayStation, like newer games, but they're upgraded, like they're tiered PlayStation like Plus models or whatever will give you access to older games, which is interesting. And I feel like this is part reason that they're doing this is because they don't want to cannibalize the sales of their like exclusive titles or newer games. And I could definitely see that because they saw how Xbox cannibalized their own sales with this type of service, you know? So I think that's why it's not as good. It's just a different type of service that they're trying to offer, but it is not a direct competitor by any means, as we can tell. Here it is. All right. A spokesperson for PlayStation declined to comment. All right. There are likely a few reasons behind this shift. One is that several recent PlayStation games have not sold well on PC. A faction within PlayStation has also expressed concern that releasing their games on PC risks damaging the console's brand and will hurt sales of the PlayStation 5 and its successors, according to the people familiar with Sony's inner workings. This is also a fair point to make here, right? If you are releasing all of your exclusives on PC, then what is the point in buying a PlayStation? And I think what they're also kind of worried about is how Steam is making the Gabe Cube, and they're foreseeing how people buying the Gabe Cube would stop them from buying a PlayStation, thus cannibalizing even more on their exclusive sales, you know? That is true. They did cause that themselves on the Helldivers 2 thing because they wanted everybody to have a PlayStation account or whatever. When it doesn't really need to. I know they still want live service. Sony really still wants live service games. And we'll see how long Marathon goes. I really liked Marathon, chat. I really did. I thought it was a really fun game, especially after playing it more. Again, I put 14 hours into that, and I had a blast. I really did. But I know they want more live service games. Sony does. They want 6. And right now, they have Helldivers. So, for decades, Sony's tactic for selling PlayStations... Yeah, they were. So, okay. They do... So, the problem is everybody wants a Fortnite, right? And you're never going to have another Fortnite because Fortnite came in at a perfect time, pivoted what their game originally was, and a completely adapted to the market, to the ever-changing market and the rapidly changing market, and really positioned itself in a very unique way. And it is truly one of the only games that I believe fits the description of it's a game for everyone, that actually everyone can have fun on. And Roblox is probably the only other game that's like that. Because because of the experiences that the creators make and everything, and how Epic supports that. and I don't. It's going to be very, very hard to have another one of those. It's literally an uphill battle, and Sony wants 6 of them. It's going to be very hard, especially if you're making competitors to already existing games. You have to really make something that's unique or add something to the genre and changes it in some way. For decades, Sony's tactic for selling PlayStations was to keep tent-pole franchises exclusive to its own consoles. This is very weird phrasing. In 2020, it pivoted and began bringing games to personal computers via Steam. Since then, the company's put most of its biggest franchises on PC, such as God of War and The Last of Us. But the strategy has been muddled and confused many players. Most PC releases arrived months or years after the game came to PlayStation. The cadence was never consistent, and the announcements appeared to be haphazard. The company also upset PC players by asking them to create PlayStation Network accounts to access many of the games. Yeah, that is one thing PC players do not want. Like, we already bought the game. Why do you want us to make another account for this, right? Now, Sony is looking to take a more straightforward approach, going back to console exclusives. Sony's 2 rivals in the console space have taken different paths. Nintendo company has released almost all of its games solely on its own Switch hardware, while Microsoft has turned into a multi-platform publisher, releasing everything on PC and many games on PlayStation. Another factor behind Sony's pivot may be Microsoft's next Xbox, which is rumored to use Windows and be capable of playing PC games. Some executives at PlayStation may not be thrilled at the prospect of one of the company's flagship games like God of War running on the next Xbox console. Taking their ball and going home. Yeah, that's literally what they're doing. And I think, again, like I said, I think part of this could probably be because of this. If this turns out to be true, where Microsoft makes a playable PC, right, for like the living room of a home or whatever, and also the GameCube, right? If Steam makes this the GameCube come out, I think it's also going to eat into the potential of PlayStation selling, the next gen of PlayStation selling, and especially if PlayStation exclusive titles are launching on PC. Sure, they might have to wait a little bit longer, but if they're still going to release on PC, I might as well go and get more powerful hardware. Maybe that's yet to be determined in terms of the GameCube. But yeah, so it's all yet to be seen. So I definitely could see how Sony's pivoting back to this could benefit them. I do. How much money they will save or gain by doing this, I guess we're gonna see, right? Only time will tell if it's worthwhile for them to do this. But chat, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. It is getting quite hot in this room. I feel like I'm losing my voice and whatnot. And yeah. But I want to say thank you guys for watching. I hope you all enjoyed today's stream. I certainly had fun playing Buckshot Roulette and going over all of this stuff and talking with you guys. And I will see you guys maybe tomorrow, for sure Friday, and we will be playing Marathon. So until then, peace and God bless.